have the pleasure of introducing our next speakers, Mr. and Mrs. Antwain Goode and Dr. Antwain Goode, and Mrs. Andrea Goode. And so I won't mess it up. I am going to read what I wrote for them today. At 4:30 every morning, Dr. Goode starts his morning in meditation, a dynamic workout, and conceptual writing. He is a native of Richmond, Virginia, and grew up in the inner city of Church Hill. Dr. Goode is the first doctor of philosophy in his family and received his doctorate from Capella University in the field of leadership and organizational management. To complement his PhD, Dr. Goode holds a High Point University MBA and has served as a professor of business leadership, communications, and marketing. Dr. Goode is the creator of several leadership curricula ranging from entrepreneurship to executive leadership. Joining him today is his wife and economic strategist, Mrs. Andrea Goode. As a vice president for Tate Consulting, Mrs. Goode's client engagement projects have included creating economic strategies that complement curricula design and organizational strategic development. It is to note that Mrs. Goode is an expert in examining economic issues to help view cause and effect strategies to solve client strategic gaps. Both of them are very excited to share a design with you all today that will impact how you go forward as next generation leaders. I would like to give the floor now to Dr. Goode and Mrs. Andrea Goode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Very good. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Goode. This is my wife, Mrs. Andrea Goode.
Good afternoon. I'm so inspired to be here with you all this afternoon, and I'm very excited about the content that we're about to share.
I want to say, Mr. Dancer, thank you so much for sharing your story. Everyone, we're going to get going here. Again, my name is Dr. Antwain Tate Goode. So when you see Tate on the screen, everyone, it's my middle name. That's the name of our company, Tate Consulting. My name is Antwain Tate. My father's name was Larry Tate. He named my brother Larry Tate. He named his son Cameron Tate. I named my son Harrison Tate. So we want to keep it as our name. The long T in that logo, everybody, is as the leader, you're supposed to protect your team. I wanted that to be part of my logo, and it's part of my middle name. It's an acronym for tenacity, attitude, teamwork, and execution. I think a logo is so important. You have to, when you build your logos, you got to know it should mean something. You see two trees in my logo, symbolic of the mentor and mentee relationship. It's a reflectional tree. And we said, Tate Consulting, you come to us, we're going to show another side of your awesome reflection. You're going to see an arch over the top of our logo. That's our arch of faith. We are excited to share that Ms. Goode, we survived a stroke in 2015. Actually, she had 2 strokes on the same day, and we survived that. And through that storm, we created another arch on the bottom of our logo. That's our arch of comfort. So we know in times of crisis, we lead from the front. And in times of comfort, when you need people to help you, you got to lead from the back. So that's our logo. And the mission of Tate Consulting is to unlock unlimited purpose and passion in people. So get ready for this design. You give me one click, and we're going to get going here on what we created for you today. So this is entitled the Tate Pivot. Pivot means that we're going to make a turn, we can make an adjustment. Developing leader confidence to obtain your dream during any challenge. We want to create a design. So COVID-19, no matter what you go through, you can say we can make a pivot, we can make a turn, and we can keep on going. So this is called the Tate Readiness Pivot. Give me one click, please. So, welcome to our family. You know, I think it's interesting, you know, listening to our stories and where we start, what inspires us. And every day I think about, you know, as I think about you all in middle school and in high school, I remember my two who were also in middle school and high school. So that's our family, everybody. That's Harrison. Harrison he's now a senior. He's graduating. He's going to college this fall. But I remember he was in middle school. That's my daughter, Kennedy. who's now a sophomore in college, and we're excited about her. And that's my wife, Andrea. So we want to say welcome to our family. So I want to make sure you know who we are, and that we got a family, we got kids, and we understand how to have you all great. We're going to make sure we get to use some tools to improve your greatness. So next slide, please. So, you know, when I think about when we wrote this design, I wanted to make sure everyone realizes that we all grow up. Everyone, that's my third grade picture right there. So I want you to know that we all grow up. And there's a little book that little Dr. Goode's hands on right there is called Up and Away. And it doesn't fall far from the truth that we are going up, y'all, no matter where you are. So our research topic was, how do we prepare to pivot? How do we change? We're going to give you some strategies on the power of awesome attitudes, goal setting, and positioning. Why positioning matters. And then some student readiness strategies. So right now, write those 3 things down, because this is going to be some strategies. Power and awesome attitudes. That's going to be a strategy. Goal setting strategies, and strategies on positioning that will position you for student readiness. So this whole design is going to add up to something really special in a second, and you all will be able to pivot with ease, not a problem. Next slide, please. Everybody, I want you to know where I'm from. Again, I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I was raised by 18 aunts and uncles. They had a little small church. And so in Richmond, Virginia, they were known as the nuns, the house of prayer, of a heart to give. And I'm always grateful. That's sister, from left to right, that's Sister Maggie Robertson, Sister Mary Rodwell. Behind her is Big Mama. Beside her to the right is Sister Maggie, Sister Jenny, Sister Duke, Sister Whitehurst, and Sister Richard. What's interesting about this group of powerful leaders is that I remember every morning getting up, and they would have people coming to the house. They'd be feeding them food and giving them coffee, but they had a heart to give. But that Sister Mary Rodwell was she was the Sunday school teacher. And she taught us something like no one else could teach. And I want to make sure I share her story today, because here's what she did. She did not allow us to do our homework until we colored. We couldn't do our homework, everybody, until we colored in a coloring book. It changed the dynamic. It really changed. Okay? So next slide, please. So, everyone, I would like to share something with you that's very important as you're developing. And that's called painting. Speak how in life you have to draw and draw your dreams big, and you have your ideas of where you want to go, make them as big as possible. So that leadership model is very unique. Okay. So I'm going to take my time. I see some internet stuff is happening. And so I want to make sure everyone can hear me first. Is it caught up, everyone? Hopefully you can hear me. And I'm clear. Good. So everyone, I'm dedicating this big picture. I wrote something in my book. That's my first book there, called Bet the Farm. And in that book, I draw something called the attitude flower. So I want you to do this right now. If you got a pencil and a sheet of paper, I want you to draw this flower right now. Next slide, please. Great. As you can tell, one of the key components of meeting people and networking and finding mentors, it's about your attitude. So I want you to know, if you draw that little flower on the left just like that, those things mean something. So write this down. So the pot. Every one of us is a pot. And all of us have a dream and have an idea and have a goal. Inside of you, when that pot is in, that seed is inside of you, it's going to grow with the dirt that's there, called giving. And so the pot is just treating people with respect. That's the first part of the attitude flower, is that pot, in treating people with respect. That seed in you, your idea, your dream, is going to grow through giving. Through giving. The more you give of you, the more other people are going to give themselves for you. When you give, That stem is going to grow through humility. Humility simply means be grateful. Y'all can say that to yourself, just be grateful. And when you do that, the petals are going to grow. Hunger. Petals. That means you have to fight for your family and you fight for other people's family, because that's why we're here today, to fight for you. Inside of that is a little circle called the mission. This attitude flower is so important because when you meet people and they meet you, they're looking at your mission all of a sudden, because that seed is grown and you're there. And then all of a sudden, here comes the sun ray. It's going to come and add that desire. So when the sun hits that flower, what is it going to do, everybody? It's going to grow. And that's just such a big deal. So your attitude flower is the first thing people are going to see to give you an opportunity. So if you write this attitude flower down right now, it's really going to help you grow. So I'm going to take my time. I see the internet is going off and on. I'm going to give one a second to digest. Again, the pot is treating people with respect. Giving, you give more you. Humility is being grateful. The petals, okay, is being hungry. The mission, your mission in that little flower that you're drawing is give it your best. Give it your best. And then when you do that, you're going to have that desire. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep trying. So that is the attitude flower. So make sure you make a note of this as we come back. Next slide, please. Now that you've drawn that award-winning attitude flower, now I want you to take some notes, because we're going to chat about this when this whole presentation is over. I know you're going to have some great questions. Why do you think this design is so important? During challenging times, you will need the help of others. So your attitude flower can be seen, okay? And it impacts your future success. So I want to make sure you make a note to yourself right now. So I'm going to make a note for myself. At the end, someone's going to say, let's talk about the attitude flower, why that's so important. So make a note of that. Next slide, please.
Why does Black political participation matter so much? Why is it important?
Well, it's important for many reasons. One, we're impacted by the system. You know, what's the quote? Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's what it boils down to. We are in an American system where politics and money and the power that it generates controls and impacts our life. Not every aspect, but many aspects. From the eye drops that goes into a baby's eyes to how a death certificate reads, and nearly everything in the middle is impacted by the political process. So we need to be a part if we want to say in our own life, if we want to be independent, if we want to influence what's happening around us, or the reverse is to let everybody else control and influence. And then we just sort of take whatever comes. That's what slaves did. But, you know, we're not slaves. We're Americans, so we have responsibility to look at ourselves. Self-help, if you will. I also think that we have a historic legacy that we need to uphold. Whether it be Robert Smalls, R.H. Kane, other persons who were the first elected in this state. We need to be involved as they were involved. But so many unnamed persons, you know, the grandmother's prayer, Lord, let me be free, if not me, my children, if not my children, my children's children.
Deferred gratification.
Deferred gratification, you know. So we have an obligation. We have a legacy to uphold. The people who died so that we could have the right to vote, the people who sacrificed so that we could one day realize the dream of a black president, black elected officials, you know, after segregation. We have an opportunity. I think it does the memories of our people a disservice when we do not vote, if we do not vote, and if we buy into this whole idea that other people have perpetuated of saying our vote doesn't count. We don't have that. We don't have that choice. You know, we don't have that. We don't have that privilege to say our vote doesn't count, because history tells us differently.
Everyone, I hope you heard that from Senator Pinckney. And every time I see his video and I think about his legacy, it makes me think about what my legacy is as a writer, as a person who's designing a curriculum. You know, we all have a legacy, so do you. And that means that you have a dream and a purpose that you cannot just let die. You have to be successful. You have to get it done. So again, he made a comment. He said, we all have a legacy to uphold. So I want everyone right now to take a moment. And there's a question in the right-hand corner there. What does becoming a legacy leader mean to you? What does it mean to you? Because all of us have a dream, but you have to know what your dream means to you. You have to realize that as you're trailblazing, you all are trailblazers, you're going to hit some places that no one else has ever seen but you. So you're going to hit the stick wire bushes. You're going to have some challenges, and that comes with the territory. But because of your award-winning attitude and your legacy that you're going to create, we're going to keep on going. And so we're going to talk about that in the debrief. Next slide, please. Everybody, I want everybody to give a high five right now. We need to see some high fives up here. Everybody give some high fives. I mean, let's give them a high five right now to Alex Bucker and Jordan Schneider. You're on this call. I pray you on this call today. I got to tell you all what happened to me this year. I wrote a design for the National Men of Color Conference on networking. They said, we want you to write a design to help the men of color in how we network. And so I wrote this design, and I didn't know that these two leaders would be in my session. And when I met Alex Barker and Jordan Schneider, I did not know they were in high school. I thought that they were already in college. And they met me, they said, you're coming to our Clemson 4-H, you're going to be speaking to us soon. We want you to do it, you're going to do it. They said, you're going to do it. So I'm at this conference, and these two young men said, listen to me, you're going to speak to us in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Their attitude, flower, was beautiful. They had the confidence. They had the purpose and passion. And I said, okay. And all of a sudden, here we are. So we're going to go into interning, get into a position to meet people to get you down the road. They were in position to make a decision. And that's what it's all about. Okay? That's what it's all about. So next slide. I'm going to show you why this little intersection is important.
I'm looking for a career path that's going to fulfill me.
One moment I was sitting right where you guys are right now. The next, I was faced with corporate America.
I remember being nervous waiting to meet my employers.
The people you're about to meet want you to succeed.
In a few minutes, the opportunity to choose your own life begins.
My internship turned into a 4-year apprenticeship with Bosch Rexroth, which I just completed, and it helped me to get my Associates of Science in Computer Integrated Machining, and that is going to turn into me continuing my education to become a mechanical engineer.
I knew I wanted to be a police officer, I just didn't know what that meant exactly. I was able to ride with them for 10 hours on a police car, go to calls, do what they do, see what they see. It was a great experience.
During my internship at Novant Health, they treated me like family. I wanted to be a nurse anesthetist. I worked in the surgery waiting rooms. I got to scrub in to see his hip replacement surgery, so I got to see every process.
I was a part of the NYAP program 2015 and 2016. I interned at Edison Ford, a construction company, and at HNTB, yet another construction company. It was a good experience, I learned a lot, and they were willing to teach me everything that they knew. Through my internship, I realized what my true passion was.
Before I interned with Bank of America, I was all over the place. I wanted to be a physicist, a journalist, a lawyer, a firefighter, a part of the police, I wanted to be a part of the FBI or CIA. I wanted to work for the government. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a dancer. I got this experience for 2 months in the corporate world, learning about the bank or finances, or I would see what the tellers do or learn from the personal bankers. You are ready.
Because you are prepared to take advantage of the opportunity.
You don't always recognize the moments that will change your life at the time that they're happening.
But this is happening right now.
It's time.
It's time. It's time, y'all. Ms. Good, you want to say something before I say anything? I'll let you go first about internships and apprenticeships before I say anything.
So I was just saying that internships are very important, and you guys are ready. You just have to set your goals. You have to have a beautiful attitude. People will see your attitudes. They'll see that you are aspiring for things, and they will be out there to help you.
And back to those two young men that I met, they did not wait for me to meet them. They came to me and said, hey, we are ready. And so you have to be aggressive and say, you know, this could lead to something more. If the course is on networking. And just like that young lady said in this video, said the internship led into a 4-year apprenticeship. Okay, so the little things add up. So take a second and write down 2 career dream jobs. That would have helped me if I was in middle school. It would have helped me in high school. I didn't do those things. So take a second today and say, I'm writing down my 2 career dream jobs right now through 4-H today. And that way you say, you know what, I got what I'm going to do right now. If I didn't do it yet last week, I'm doing it right now. So write down your 2 career dream jobs now. Next slide.
On the spotlight here, trying to focus. Tell us all about it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kennedy Goode, and I'm here today with my dad as an intern, as he's here talking about his company, Tate Consulting, and Bet the Farm.
Okay. And tell us, how's this working out for you over there at Tate Consulting?
It's been really good. I've learned a lot. This is my 2nd year interning with Tate Consulting, and I really enjoy going out, meeting new people, and really having the opportunity to see what my dad does every day during the summer. It's very exciting.
Impressive, is it not?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So you really come along and you're right there and you're in the mix of everything. What is it that you want to get out of working with your dad here at Tate Consulting?
I want to be a better leader, and I want to learn as much as I can from him so I can hopefully continue his legacy and really get to be a better person.
Everyone, I want you to know this, that we all don't just set goals. We set goals because we are inspired. So Kennedy Goode that week reached out to 2 attorneys to say, can I shadow you for a day? Can I have lunch with you for a day? She didn't know how to do it. I said, you have nothing to lose. You can do it. But they said yes. Everybody, they said yes. As I think about Alex Locker and those students, they said yes. They said yes. And both of them said, we went to UNC. And at the time, you know, we didn't know what Kennedy's major was going to be. But all of a sudden, she found her love in public health. And what was so unique is that, one click please, because of having the confidence, because of her attitude flower, if you click one time, okay, she winds up going to Carolina. I say all that because when you meet people and you network with your attitude flower, you know your goals, and you take the risk, great things are going to happen. You never know, you'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you have to go for it when you have the opportunity. And you got to trust that you are awesome. Trust the seed that's inside of you. And you have to say yes. You have to say yes. And people will say yes to you. Next slide. We're going to get there, everybody. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So what's the big deal? I want everyone to write this down. Write this down. You're not going to miss it. We don't care about the internet. We don't care about glitchiness. You're going to write this down. So what's the big deal? The big deal is about goal setting is deciding what to accomplish and then create the plan. You got to decide. You get inspired. Someone shows you an idea. They show you a place to take you in your experience and get you to believe and that you can do it. Then you got to decide what to accomplish. So I'm going to do something. And just like Mr. Dantzler said before, you know, this goal setting process, you have to have the courage to say, I'm drawing a line in the sand and I'm going to do it. So that's why this is so important. So next slide, please. We want to give you some tips on goal setting. I want you to write these down. Next slide. Now, the person who's going to help us with this goal setting mindset, y'all, that's my son, Harrison. He's been riding horses for a long time. And as we talk about goal setting, I want you all not to miss the mindset. There's a mindset that you have to be in before you begin setting your goals. It just doesn't happen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are steps, but you have to go through a mindset change first. So Harrison loves horses. He said, Dad, I'm going to the #1 school for horses. And he goes to plan, he's going to Kentucky. So today, the mindsetting starts by saying, today I'm going to win. Write that down. And you say it to yourself right now, today I'm going to win. Number 2, you're going to learn what you do not know. You're going to find a way to say, I don't have the answer. Back to critical thinking, you have to say, I'm going to figure that out. But number 3, you build a tracking system, and you're going to have to say, wait a minute, I'm going to use a calendar. I'm going to use my smartphone. I'm going to use my family members to keep me on track. But number 4 is learn to reframe your setbacks. And I think Mr. Dantzler said it. He said, your plan's going to come back. But guess what? Through those derailments is where you're going to get your growth. So you're going to reframe it as, I needed to get that to fall or to fail because it was my first attempt in learning. Fail, F-A-I-L, means first attempt in learning. Write that down. So clear off your calendar. Number 5 is clear off your calendar and focus on what's right now. And again, that's about why he's going to Kentucky. He had the goal setting mindset. So it's a mindset. So today, you make sure you have your mindset. Great. We're almost home, everybody. I want to make sure, hopefully everyone can hear me right now. These are the big 4. The first step, have a great attitude with that attitude flower. When you have that attitude, you're going to move into position to attract a mentor. It's going to happen very fast. Make sure you're ready. Number 3, Senator Pinckney said, leave a legacy. What is going to be your gift? What's going to be your claim to fame? Don't think that what you're doing is any insignificant in somebody else's dream. Your dream is equal. Be inspired. When you do that, you can handle change, you can pivot, it'll be easy. We're really grateful. We're sitting here thinking about you all right now, and you all are amazing. These strategies are not insignificant. They mean a lot. And it's when you get in, you have the right attitude, and that flower of yours starts to bloom, people are going to see it. They're going to take their glasses off and go, who was that right there? Did you see her? And then they're going to say, we got to have that one. And they're going to take you on. And I know that for a fact. So do not be afraid of showcasing who you are through your attitude. And then you're going to move into a position, but you got to take the risk. You can't play it safe by saying, I'm not going to meet them. I'm not going to meet her. I'm not going to meet them. You can't sit back in the chairs because that Alex Blocker guy, that Mr. Blocker guy and Mr. Snipes, they did not play it safe. They said, did you see that? So they were looking at me and I was looking at them. So mentorship is a two-way street. And so you can't ever be afraid to give it your best and look your best and do it the way God told you to do it. And like Mrs. Goode will tell you about faith.
Well, the one thing I wanted to say is that we don't all have the answers. And I think in this season, that's an important thing because we as parents of two about to be college students, we don't have the answers, but there are people that are going to be put in position to help them. And my children are coming to me with more and more questions of things that I can't answer, but we can find and research the right people to help them get to the answers. So don't feel like if you start and restart, that's okay. Because we all do that in life. We've all done that in our careers and everything. But you just have to have faith that God will keep pushing you through and keep pushing you to where you're supposed to be. And it's okay not to have all the right answers, but the right answer will come.
With the right attitude. And guess what? You're just in middle school and high school. You know, again, when I saw those two leaders, I thought they were in college. They were already showcasing greatness, which made me think, I got to put on my bench. So back to internships, to 4-year apprenticeships, leading to work with big organizations. So you all have y'all now. This is awesome, right? So I want to tell you all, I want to stop now to tell you how much I appreciate you. To say y'all are awesome sauce. Stay super duper confident. Entrepreneurship. Start your company now. You know, start your company. Don't wait until you get to college to start your company. Call Tate. You know, start your company. Because like those 3 young men that you saw, we helped them start their companies in college. So part of our purpose and passion is writing. So by the time you all get to us, we'll be ready for you. So we're writing designs to make sure you all just run the ball, right? So I want y'all just to win out the gate. So thank you all so much. We'd now like to take some questions and get some feedback. Thank you so much, Ms. Olden, for this opportunity.
No, thank you. So you brought up, I see some questions. Someone has a question. Sydney or Paige, you guys can go ahead and ask your question while Josh is typing his question in the chat.
So I just had a question regarding of course, I want to start job shadowing right now, you know, people in the medical field, but with kind of COVID and everything happening right now, it's hard. So how do you recommend going about that?
I think she said during COVID-19, she wants to go to the medical field, and she's having a hard time communicating.
Okay. Like I said, one thing I think you have to do is research to find the right people to help you get in position to get into that field. I would love to introduce you to our daughter. She's going into health policy at UNC Chapel Hill. She could talk to you about some of the things she's experienced her first year, and she's about to apply to the health sciences degree. So she could talk to you about that. Also, you might want to research where you are, people who are in that field who maybe work in the health department or health sciences, who could talk with you and give you some background on what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. So I got one, Sydney. First responders. Mm-hmm. Okay, so during COVID-19, it's more first responders out there. You can reach out to them right now for help, and that you can be their research person virtually. No one's probably ever thought about that, but you're in a great position to reach out to your ambulances, rather right there in your neighborhood. Write that down, and you say, "Hey, do you need help?" And they're gonna say, "What? Who is this?" Now, another thing, Sydney, what grade are you in, Sydney?
I'm a rising junior.
Oh.
So back to my daughter, Kennedy, okay? She had her resume ready in the 9th grade. Hello. All of y'all have your resumes ready. Now. You don't have to wait for your resume to be ready. Do that. If you haven't done anything else this COVID-19 season, this summer, you should say, my resume is ready. And it doesn't have to be a big one. And then when you send that to people like me, who's going, who's that, calling me, and then you say, oh, I'll send you my resume in 5 minutes, and I'm just a junior, they're going to be like this.
Yeah.
You want this, y'all. Y'all see this? All you're trying to get is.
Yeah. And it'll grow.
And it'll grow.
Every year.
Yeah. But your attitude, how you carry your smile. So you just had courage today. You had courage in front of all of your peers to see a husband and wife, minority couple, right? Saying, we're developing the best leaders in the whole world. And so I'm going to ask them a question live. And you got an answer that you needed for yourself. And you have the attention of my wife who says, I'm going to introduce you to Kennedy Goode. Woo. Y'all with me? Y'all see how this thing kind of, okay.
We have a lot of questions coming. Paige,
Oh,
you
Lord.
want to unmute yourself? I know you're in trouble now. Paige, unmute yourself. Ask your question. You can go ahead.
Oh, boy, here we go.
How does internships affect your employment?
Internship is very important into your employment. First of all, it gives you a vision for what you want to do. You get to tap into different areas to see what you really like. So an internship is very important. Plus, it's also things you can put on your resume before you even go out into the corporate world. So that means you have experience in different things from different places. So you really want to start internships even in high school. Meet people that will give you internships, even if you only work a couple of hours a week, to get experience in doing different things.
I want y'all to write this down. Dr. Goode, give me another classic. It's called development in place. Write that down. Development in place. Development in place is important because you're developing, you're not even getting paid to do it yet, but you're learning and you're leading. I showed you a picture of Kennedy with her head down writing. She was at a library and she was on the panel, and she was in 9th grade. So I'll be on the panel. That day, those two attorneys, they put her on the newspaper and said, this little, 15-year-old person is on the panel. And then they said, yeah, we'll meet with her. And all of a sudden, boom. Yeah. So it's called development in place. It's not just you're interning. Yeah. You're developing skills in leadership before you start. Mm-hmm. And so by the time you go to college, your resume is going to be stacked. Yes. Stacked. And then so when people are selecting people for internships and go to apprenticeships, some of these are paid events. Yeah. So it's not like you're just going to go sit for a summer. Yeah. They'll pay you $7,000 and $8,000 versus working at McDonald's or Burger King doing that. You can be doing that in the field that you're going into. So that's why you got to do it. But you're developing, everybody say developing in place.
Developing in place. And I don't want to take any shine from the kids today, but what you're saying is so important about developing in place. Fun fact, at 11 years old, I got an internship through the Columbia Urban League in Columbia, wow, South Carolina. And I was working for an insurance company at that time at 11. Wow. So I was already developing those leadership skills and those business etiquette skills at 11 years old. So I definitely agree that there is no time, it's never too young to start. But I don't want to get on my little soapbox.
Yeah, you said a lot of questions. Miss Oldie says 1,000 questions out there.
Yes, I know that. Let me stop. Okay, so Josh, he had a question. He recently started his business and he wants to know, how can he expand his business?
Oh, wow, it's ready to expand.
Where's Josh at? Where's he? I want to see his picture. Where's Josh? Is he there?
Josh, and he may be he's under Joshua's iPhone.
I see him. I see Josh now. I see you, Josh. You can't hide. Josh, how you doing, sir? I see you.
Doing good. I'm doing good.
Okay, Josh. So here's a tip.
Well, right? What is his business?
What is your business, Josh?
Photography and graphic design.
Okay. And he wants to expand it.
He wants to expand.
Okay.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, sir.
What's the mission statement of your company?
The mission statement of my company is providing quality photos and quality images on sticks, basically.
Let's give him a hand clap, y'all.
Awesome.
That is the first step to expanding your business, is to know the mission of your company, right? The reason why that's the number one thing is because if you don't have a mission and values, you won't be able to expand. That's the first step. Now that you got your mission, what are the values of your company?
Christian values, basically. Putting God in control of everything.
Guess what? Give my hand clap for that. Give my hand clap for that. Okay. Now, but you're dealing with the leadership architect, right? So let's get you right. Okay. Write down 1 through 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, give me a second. Give me just a second.
Didn't it tell you to use a pencil and paper when you get on this call with us with the tape? Did we tell them, everybody? Everybody, did we say pick up? Didn't we? I'm just making sure we're on the same page, right?
We did.
Okay. All right. Now,
go ahead.
Your values, like for Take Consulting, our values are spirituality, passion, tenacity, vision, attitude, power, and trust. Those are values. In order to make your business grow, you have to have values. So if you just said, I'm gonna put God first, that's one. You could say, you know, we lead with faith. I just gave you no charge. I ain't gonna charge you for it. Your first value is that we lead with faith. Somebody else wrote that down. Somebody else is going. Here's why this is important. The more you write down your thoughts around, and that's when you read my book, Bet the Farm, you understand. When you write down these values that you believe in, other people in your company will be able to follow that. A lot of people start companies and don't have a mission statement and don't know what their true values are. They've never been defined. And this is a big concept, but you're getting it early. So make sure you get my book and you go to page 5 and you start working on why these values are important. Because if you have values 1 through 4 or 5 or 6, and you define them, you can see who you are. Because people are not buying your product, they're buying you, and they're buying your why.
And also, Josh, the one thing that we need to understand a little bit more about is what you're growing from. So we need to understand where your business is now in order to talk to you about what you want to aspire to. So maybe if you want to send Dr. Goode an email
with your resume
about where you're trying to go, and then we can really talk about how to help you get there.
So Josh, because you're where you are, I got to give you something else. Are you ready? Josh, you writing? You ready to write?
Yes, sir.
Because you have a company, you have a different type of resume.
That's right.
You're now writing a capability statement. But we'll talk about that. I want you to know that the resume for everyone on this line is the first step. There's no reason why, after this call with Dr. Goode and Mrs. Goode, that you don't have a resume. You can't say we didn't talk about that.
Even if it's just a starter.
I don't care, because that resume sets the tone for your company and your capability statement. Y'all writing stuff down. I see you sitting there writing it down. I'm looking who's writing. Gabrielle is writing. Jamie Tillman Bridge is writing. Madeline is writing. Alyssa Allison is writing. Kendall is writing. Logan is writing. Morgan is writing. Okay. Paige is writing. Okay.
They're serious. They're serious. We have another question. Jordan, if you would like to unmute yourself. It looks like Jordan's got that question.
That's my man.
Yeah.
Where's my man at? I can't see Jordan. Where's he at?
Hey, Mr. Antwain, how you doing?
Well, you know I'm proud of you, man. You know you know how I'm proud of you. I can't see a picture of you. Where you at?
Well, I'm looking kind of rough right now. I'm actually about to get ready for another interview with 4-H after this, so I'm not presentable. I'm laid up in the bed right now, but I did want to take time to publicly thank you for what you're doing right now. I've been in 4-H since the beginning of this program. This is actually what started my journey and my legacy in leadership. And most of the agents on this call, you know, I could thank them all day too, because for the past 5 years, and even Rashonda, they've, with the last 2 years of knowing her, you know, have really helped me start that path. What you're doing today for all of these high schoolers, because when you said me in Alex in high school, I'm like, I was already in college, you know, trying to get that first step. But the eagerness that we have that's in 4-H, these leaders of Pinckney Leadership, something that, you know, they need to hear what you have to say. And I'm so glad that you were able, and Miss Goode, it's good to finally meet you over virtual camera.
I told you.
Y'all a duo. I mean, I see it. It's a great dynamic. But thank you so much just for sharing that with us today. And
we're here for you.
We
got you.
Thank you so much.
You know you got me on speed dial, right? You know I'm on speed dial.
Yeah, I was going to type you up an email while I was waiting for, I guess, Rashonda to get to me. I had a feeling she'd allow me to speak. So thank you, Miss Rashonda. I appreciate you and for doing this, because this is what 4-H needs right now in South Carolina 4-H. And so many people have been hard at work trying to get this to come. So I'm just excited to be here and to hear y'all speak to us today. So thank you to y'all and to everyone who made this possible.
Oh, you're awesome.
Thank you so much.
You done made our day, man. I'm good. But again, Miss Olden, Miss Olden, I want to say that what he showcased was a lot of risk. When I met him, and I just think it was over 2,000 people there. He could have went to a whole bunch of different sessions. He chose the one on networking. He chose that one and saw me, and all of a sudden he learned how to network more. And so I want you all to know that it takes risk, and it's going to be scary. Things might not go right. The internet might not go right. It's pretty good. All this stuff. But when you're great, you're great. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you can do what God told you to do, God told you to do it, and nobody can take it away. You just got to know that you got it, you know, and just be strong. Don't give up with your representation. I work with an amazing woman. She jumped on. She's the best.
Personalities are different, but Dr. Goode is right. It does take risk. And even if you are afraid to go and meet that person, you have to step out on faith and go and meet them and introduce yourself and let them see the beautiful person you are. You all are so beautiful.
Yeah.
And the opportunities will come just from that.
Y'all bad. Y'all bad.
All right, we have one last question before because it's 1 o'clock. It's crazy. It's already 1 o'clock. One last question, Paige.
Be positive.
Yes,
Paige. Oh, that's Paige. Okay. Hey, Paige.
So at school, we have different organizations such as FBLA to help us with our business etiquette and networking skills. How would that help on our resume when looking for employment?
Okay.
And Paige, tell them what FBLA stands for. I believe it's an acronym.
FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America.
Okay. So Paige, that's a very large organization. As you're writing your resume and you list FBLA, to Mrs. Olden's point, you got to make sure you write out what it is so we all know that you know how to do that. But the key, and I taught my children this, and I'm teaching this to y'all now, it's not writing down what you did on your resume. It's writing down what you learned in your resume. Don't miss that. Don't write down what the job says you're supposed to do. Don't write down like, for example, I worked with Take Consulting this summer. They're a leadership company, and I helped them research some strategies for the Winston-Salem Transit Authority. You're not gonna write that. You're gonna write down, I work for Take Consulting, and I learned how leadership affects team dynamics. I learned how leadership can affect how fast people solve problems. I learned personally that I was able to link my purpose and passion to one component of FBLA. Because see, the reason why your resume, if you write it with what you learned, it'll help you. It's going to help you with your college essay. I gave y'all something big. Your college essay is not about what you did. They want the people to say, here's what I learned. Oh my God.
And that is true.
Oh my God, it's huge.
And for both our children, when they wrote their college essays, it was about what they've learned through their years in high school and middle school. So all the things that they had gone through, the groups that they were in, it wasn't about just being in the group, it's about how to affect them and what they learned from it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're awesome, Paige. Miss Paige, you're awesome. You hear me? You're awesome. Write down what you learned, okay? What you learned.